They walk away. They leave us hurt. They leave us lonely, confused, frustrated. But earthly friendships fail. See, his friendship remains constant at all times. See, there's never been a time that in my life or in yours, even if you don't realize it or feel it sometimes, I know I have many times thought, God, are you really there? But after looking back, I've quickly realized, wow, if he wasn't there, I would be in a much more hurt than what I am right now. But there's never been a time in my life that Jesus had walked away from me. Although many times I've walked away from him or hurt him, he stood next to me with his never-ending love and grace to pick me up and carry me when I fail or when I hurt or when I hurt him. There's never been a time that he wasn't right there. Even though we may have not felt him or may not feel him, it's not because he's not there. It's because we have lacked sensitivity or we don't trust or we don't want to believe enough. But he's there. He's been there the entire time, and he's there right now with you and with me. See, our friendship with Jesus should be the foundation of all other relationships. When we are secure in his love, we can love others freely without being needy or manipulative. It's important to have loyalty and faithfulness as a friend. See, the characteristics of a godly friendship are based in loyalty and faithfulness. In Proverbs 17:17, it says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." See, true friendship isn't fair weather friendship. It isn't when things are good, I'm your friend, and when it's not, sorry, I'm going to go over here and take care of myself and worry about myself. See, godly friends remain loyal through it all. Good times, difficult times, success and failure, agreement, disagreement, prosperity, poverty. It doesn't matter to a true godly friend. What matters is they have your back and they're there with you. Honesty and accountability are also another trait that we have to have as friends of God and friends in this world. In Proverbs 27:5-6, it says, "Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of the enemy are deceitful." In Proverbs 27:17 says it like this. It says, "As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend." See, godly friendship is not always easy. True friendship is not always easy. Accepting true friendship is not always easy. Because as a true friend, as someone that wants to follow God, you have to hold your friends and yourself accountable sometimes. You need to do it all the time, but sometimes you have to have tough conversations with your friends. With love, through love. But it's better that you come to them and say, "Hey, look, I love you, but we need to work on this," or "This doesn't sit well," or maybe some guidance. As much as people don't want correction in that sense or don't want you to do anything but agree with everything they say and everything they do, that's not godly friendship. That's not how we reflect God's relationship. We have to love them through it all. We have to help them and be there. But we can't justify a sinful behavior. We can't justify something that is devastating to them or something that they may not see or they may not. That's not friendship. That's not love. That's not caring. Even in relationships that are deeper than friends and husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends, that kind of stuff, sometimes you have to have difficult conversations with each other. No, it's not easy, but it's godly. And if your friends don't correct you, I'm not talking about being, I hope you understand my heart. I'm not talking about being negative at you all the time. I'm not saying they beat you down. I'm not saying that's not friendship either. That's a different thing. But true help sometimes hurts. That's just the reality of it. I would rather have someone be truthful to me than allow me to do something and end up hurting myself, hurting others, or falling in a path where I'm not going to end up in heaven or stepping in the side. Hey, I want to caution you at this. That's love. Through love, Not because I know better, but because, hey, I see this from a different perspective than you. I'm not, yeah, we're close, but I'm not inside that relationship. I'm not in that situation. I can see it from the outside. You're walking down a dangerous path. See, true godly friendship, true godly love will help and guide and lead and direct. Not from a place of judgment, but from a place of true love. We must speak truth in love. Hold each other accountable. Help each other grow spiritually. We have to be willing to have difficult conversations when necessary. And that's hard. See, when a friend comes to you with a difficult conversation, yeah, it's hard to hear, but it's also hard to be that friend that has to come to you with that conversation. If they come to you with the difficult conversations, it's not because they don't like you or they want to hurt you. It's because they love you, truly love you, and they want to see the best for you. In Galatians 6, verse 1, it says, "Brethren, if a man is overtaken by any trespass, you who are spiritual, restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness, considering yourself lest you also be tempted." Not least, lest you also be tempted. We have to be careful when we go to someone. We have to help them, but we have to make sure that we're doing it out of love and not out of a what's better for me kind of mentality or any other way but through God's love. And you know how we do that? We do that through prayer, through discernment, through understanding and walking in the Spirit and using the fruit of the Spirit and allowing God to talk through us and give us words whenever we don't have words. In John 3:16, it says, by this we know love, because he laid down his life for us, and we also ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. In Philippians 2, verse 3 through 4, it says, "Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interest of others." See, true friendship involves laying down our lives, sacrificing our time, our comfort, our resources, and our pride for others. How many of you know that we're not always right when we think something or say something, right? As much as I want to feel like I'm always right, unfortunately, it's not the truth. Correct, Rachel? Sometimes it's okay to admit that we're wrong. See, it's a sacrifice of our own comfort, our own resources, our pride. Pride will get you every time. Pride is the devil's playground. When you think you're better, be cautious. Because you're one step away from falling in a deeper trap than what they are in. In Thessalonians 5, verse 11, we have to encourage and support. In Thessalonians 5, verse 11, it says, "Therefore comfort each other and edify one another, just as you also are doing." In Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 12, it says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion, but woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. Again, if two lie down together, they will keep warm, but how can one be warm alone? Although one may be overpowered by another, two can withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken." See, godly friends provide emotional support during trials, encouragement for spiritual growth, practical help in times of need, and strength through unity. We all have to be unified to strengthen one another. Godly strength. I want to talk about biblical examples of friendship. In 1 Samuel 18, verse 1 and then verse 3, we see David and Jonathan here. It It says, now when he had finished speaking to Saul, the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul. In 1 Samuel 20 and verse 17, it says, now Jonathan again caused David to vow, because he loved him. For he loved him as he loved his own soul. Their friendship demonstrated to us covenant commitment beyond convenience. They were knit together. It wasn't a convenient relationship, but they were knit as one, and they loved each other. Sacrificial love. See, Jonathan gave up his right to the throne at that time. Loyalty, despite the pressures of this world, despite family pressures. And a spiritual bond that is rooted in faith. Mutual protection and support. These are all good characters, all important characters of true godly friends. Ruth and Naomi, Ruth 16 through 17, or Ruth 1, 16 through 17, sorry, Sister Cheryl. It says, but Ruth said, entreat me not to leave you, or to turn back from following after you. For wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts you and me. Commitment beyond circumstances. Spiritual influence between each other or to each other. And conversion, helping each other find and become that disciple of Christ and finding that relationship and through love and maturity and care for one another. Mutual support and care. And faithfulness. See, the faithfulness of a friend in this relationship between Ruth and Naomi blessed many future generations after them. This faithfulness, who knows who you're going to affect? Who knows who you can have encounters with? Who knows where? Because although you might be friends with someone, you don't have the same influence over certain people or certain areas or certain things like they might have. So if you can, through the love of God, show them, then they can reach someone else. And that's how it goes. And that's how God's love spreads. And that's how we grow disciples and learn to love people and love God correctly. See, friendship truly is evangelism. In John 1, 40 through 42, it says, one of the two who heard John speak and followed him was Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. He first found his own brother Simon and said to him, we have found the Messiah, which is translated the Christ. And he brought him to Jesus. See, Simon found Jesus and then went and brought others to him, brought his brother to him. That's where it's important to care about your brothers. See, in John 4, 28 through 29, it says, the woman then left her water pot, went her way into the city and said to the men, come, see a man who told me all things that I ever did. Could this be the Christ? See, friendship involves evangelism. If I can read correctly my notes that I wrote. Building genuine relationships first with people can allow you to lead them to Christ. I don't know about you, but if I see someone that's down all the time or that's upset or that's just kind of in the mully grubs, as they say, you know, all the kids say that nowadays. That's a popular saying, mully grubs. I think that was, you know, Gen Z or something. But if they're down on themselves, they're always down and depressed all the time, and they're like, hey, why don't you just come to church with me? You know, come meet this guy I know named Jesus. He's pretty cool. But, you know, I don't want to hang out with that all the time. I don't want to have that in my... We should be excited about the relationship that God has given us. We should be happy that, not that we don't get sad, but we should be happy because He loved us enough to give His life. Building genuine relationship first, and you're going to want to hang out with that person. You're going to want to spend time with them, and then you can allow God to shine through you at all times. See, living an authentic Christian life. Ouch. It's more than just living a Christian life inside the walls of church. It's if that's the only time you live a Christian life is when you're inside the walls of the church, we need to talk because we need to pray and we need to work through a lot of things. Well, because inside the church, it's easy when you're surrounded by Christians or by like-minded believers to live this Christian life and to show and to put on this robe or this mask and be all about it. Here I am. But when you're outside these walls, what life are you living? What are you showing? How authentic is your relationship with Him? Because if you're just acting inside the church, there's no relationship. I hate to be that blunt this morning on Friends Day. I'm not trying to take the air out of the room. I'm just telling you the truth that it's not about the sign on the church. It's not about how the religion is much. It's all about the relationship you have with Jesus. And if you can't live an authentic Christian life outside the church, it's a difficult walk. Sharing our testimony should come naturally. It shouldn't be something that we just save up for times we get the microphone. It should be something that we share to people. Our testimony is so much deeper than just our story. It's give someone else the thought or show someone else the true love and the true nature of God. And you know, wow, if God did that for you, He can maybe do that for me. I'm like, well, no, He can't. He can more than maybe do it. He can do it. But if we don't share it, if we don't talk about it, and it's not bragging on us about, look what we did, because it has nothing to do with us. It's God did everything despite us. See, we were just getting in the way of what He wanted to do, but yet when we are able to share our testimony, and when it becomes natural to share it, and when it becomes, hey, you know, you're having a hard time. I've been there, you know, and this, sometimes we can be, as some say, a one-upper, right? Anyone ever heard that, one-upper? So we can say, oh, you broke your toe. Yeah, I broke 5 toes, and my foot and my ankle and 3 legs. I broke all of them at the same time. It was terrible, the pain. We can be this one-upper sometimes. That's not what sharing our testimony is about. Sharing our testimony is saying, hey, I know you're going through a lot of pain. I understand. I've been in pain before. Maybe it's not the same. We don't have the same feeling, but I know a God that when I was in pain or when I was hurting or when I was lost, He came to me. He found me. He saved me. It's not well, you think you have it bad. Let me tell you a story about this. No, that's not what sharing our testimony is. We're not trying to one-up them. We're trying to point them to Jesus. Point them to the one that saved us. See, inviting friends to church and church events. That's why Friends Day to me is exciting. It's always an exciting service. But I think we are failing if we're not doing it more than just one day a year. If we're truly friends, we need to invite them every day. Even when they say they're coming and they don't show up, and it gets disappointing, disheartening sometimes, but God didn't give up on us the first time. He said, hey, you shouldn't do that. So yeah, they might get annoyed sometimes of saying, come on, man, I'm not coming to church. Well, hey, I'm going to church. I would love to have you there. Just come. Just try it out. When we give up, that might be the lifeline that they lost. Is that really showing true friendship, true love? We have to show that and be that. Because I know what God's done for me in my life. I wasn't always in church. I started coming to church when I was 18, and just to be honest, and I may have told this story many times, I would make fun of it and just kind of whatever when I was 18. It wasn't important. But when God really got a hold of me, when God touched me and changed my past, changed my life, changed my heart, that's when things were different. That's the testimony you have to share. And you can't give up on the hope that God has just because someone tells you, yeah, I'll be there, and then they don't show up. Okay. How many times did God want us to show up? And we didn't. If we don't invite people, friends, we have to, more than just Friends Day at church. I love the event. It's fantastic. Like I said, probably one of my favorite days that we have here as far as events go. But every service should be Friends Day. Every prayer meeting should be Friends Day. Every Bible study, everything, it should all be Friends Day. We're all trying to make disciples and reach others and love people. Well, how can we love them if we don't first bring them to the one who is love? God is love. See, being patient and persistent in prayer, you don't have to continuously beat them up because they're not going to church or they're not coming to church with you. It's through love you invite them, and it's through prayer and persistent prayer and fasting for them that things will change, things will shift. There'll be something in life that this world and the Lord has a way of humbling you. If you're not aware of that, He has a way of humbling you very quickly when you think you don't need Him. So praying for your friends, being there for your friends, showing God's love, living an authentic Christian walk inside the church, outside the church, at work, in your car, everywhere is important. It's vital. Demonstrating Christ's love through action. We have to make sure that what we're doing is showing God's love. See, for me, I don't have enough love in my heart to love every person. I feel like I don't anyway. Maybe I do. I'm not sure. I love you all. I'm not saying I don't. But, sometimes people get annoying. It's just, people just, I have to be very careful or I'm not going to be allowed back up here. So, which, for your sake, may be a good thing sometimes. But we have to demonstrate Christ's love because none of us have enough love in our hearts because through Him, we don't have any love if we don't have Him. We have a feeling or a thought about what love is. We have this perverted idea of what the world has created love into. But until you truly find God, until you truly build a relationship with Him and understand the true love and passion that He has for you, it's hard to give that. There's many times, and I will definitely regret saying this, but I just want to punch people in the face. I'm just being honest, okay? This is Sunday morning, honest time. We'll all pray through in a little bit, but sometimes people just have the face that want to be punched. I can't help it. If your face didn't look like that, I wouldn't want to punch it so much, but it just happens sometimes. But that's my own spirit, okay? That's my own heart. That's my own flesh that I need to get away from. Because, boo with the flesh. Oh, hey. Could we just be authentic this morning? That's just showing you, whatever it is. I dressed up in a taco costume this morning and danced for a video for Facebook. So, we have to be able to laugh at ourselves and we have to be able to enjoy life sometimes. So, I was going to teach in it, but I thought maybe, I wanted to be a little bit more serious. So, as well, that really worked for me so far. In 1 Peter, let's go back to the Word because I'm just going to get myself in trouble if I continue. In 1 Peter 3, I'm probably already in trouble, so Pastor, we'll just schedule a meeting right after service today and pray for me, please. In 1 Peter 3, verse 15, it says, "But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and always be ready to give a defense to everyone who asks for a reason for the hope that is in you, with meekness and fear.